Hi. It's a beautiful spring day here in Cedar City, and I wanted to share with you an experiment my family and I have been doing over the last 2 weeks. Some of you may be familiar with the rice experiment. I first saw this probably 2.5 years ago, I guess. And it's pretty simple. There's 2 bottles of rice, just cooked rice, like you would make to go with your stir fry or go in your chicken and rice casserole, whatever you're happy to make for dinner. And you put it in a bottle, 2 different bottles, and one bottle you label love, and the other bottle you label hate. And each day you say I love you to one, and you say I hate you to the other. Well, I saw one of these videos just recently. It was like 3 weeks ago, and I thought, that would be a fun experiment to do with the kids. We could totally do an I love you or I hate you rice experiment. Just see if it really works. See if it's just all hogwash. See if it's a real thing. I do know that positivity and negativity really affect a person. So I believed it probably would. But I can say I'm actually shocked by the results of this experiment. I don't shock very easily. I just don't. I've been lots of places, seen lots of things, and it just takes a lot to shock me. But I didn't want to do just the simple love and hate rice experiment because that had been done quite a bit. So I actually added a twist to it. And so here's my confession part of this video. I have what we laughingly refer to as a farmer accent. I swear, not all the time. I try to be mindful of people who don't swear, and I don't swear around little kids, and I don't swear around friends who I know it would be offensive to, or family members. But I don't worry about it much at home. And the reason I don't, and I've always made this my reasoning, that a word is just a word, and we ascribe meaning to it based upon our upbringing and our emotions. Because you may have a word that means one thing in another language than it means in ours, and in some cultures it's offensive, in some cultures it's not. And so it has never really bothered me. I'm not offended by people who swear, and I try not to offend other people. But it is one of my vices that I need to repent of and just not do. But so I thought, let's do an experiment. Let's just see what impact swearing has on rice. And then I have a son who recently picked up on a particular hand gesture that we're all, I'm sure, familiar with, lewd gesture, and he doesn't ever do it out of anger. He just does it to be funny, that he flips off his brothers, and he thinks it's humorous, and I keep telling him not to, but he laughs and thinks, it's not a big deal, I'm not mad. Or he kind of halfway pretends, or he uses a different finger, and like, just don't do it. It's rude, it's crass, don't do that. So we added a twist to the rice experiment. We have one rice jar labeled love, one rice jar labeled hate. We have a third rice jar labeled swear words, and a fourth one labeled flipping off. And the assignment for the last 2 weeks for my children has been to daily either say I love you, I hate you, flip off the rice, or say a swear word to it. And this has resulted in an incredible amount of laughter in our house. It's been really funny, and actually shocking and disturbing. So I want to show you what happens to rice that we say I love you to. And the only difference in these these rice jars is what we said or what we did to it in gestures. So our first jar, without further ado, this is the love jar. I don't know if you can see the little sign, but it says love. And every day we pick up this jar of rice and we say, I love you, you're such beautiful rice. And that's pretty much it. And there's 6 of us in the house, so this jar of rice got love 6 times a day. Okay. Our next jar says hate. Now, I don't know if you can see this really well, but it's pretty nasty. I don't want to open it up, so I'm not really interested in smelling it. But it's got green mold, white mold, some kind of orange, browny, disgusting looking mold. It doesn't look edible. It's gross. And we've just said, I hate you to this every day. And the interesting thing is, we didn't say it with any anger. We just said, I hate you. And usually laughed like I just did after saying it because, what's there to hate about rice, right? But it's an obvious difference. Here, let me hold them up together. My girls can put up. So here's our love rice on this side. Nice. A little bit of moisture in the bottom. I did open this one up to smell it. It just smells yeasty. It doesn't smell disgusting. I confess I didn't want to smell this one, so I didn't. This is the hate you one. It's moldy. You can see the mold there. It's kind of disgusting. Gross. Anyway, love and hate. And now, a little shocking. Here's what happens to rice after 2 weeks of being sworn at. Now, this rice was no different than the other rice. The only difference is what we said to it. Usually it was said in great humor. I don't know if you can see in there really well, but we have some like greenish black mold growing. There's lots of fuzzy white mold growing inside. It's considerably more disgusting than just the hate one. And here's hate comparatively. The hate almost looks yummy by comparison. And now for the seriously shocking one. And I really was shocked by this. It was just shocking. This is what happens to rice that you flip off. It is black and green with mold and yellow. This is the worst one we have. It's difficult to see, I think. But it's just absolutely nasty. So here, let's go from love to adding a swear word with a physical gesture. Now, I believe that our thoughts matter and that they impact us. And I believe that words matter. And I've always viewed that to be, say nice things to other people and say nice things to yourself. And I've never been one to worry, as I stated earlier, I've never been one to worry much about swear words. And if you're not angry with someone, it's just a word, right? But I'm rethinking that position because I don't think rice speaks English, I don't think it hears a word in my language and just, didn't recognize it or did recognize it and thought, oh, they swore at me. Oh, I feel bad. I just don't think that about rice. Rice is rice. It doesn't know the difference. And yet it responds differently, even when it was said in good humor and in good fun. Words have power. Words have meaning. And if something done in humor can do this, to rice in 2 weeks. Imagine what it can do to a friend or to yourself or to a spouse or to a child, even said in jest. So I don't think I'm going to swear anymore. Thanks.